What's up, everybody? Second episode of Nass going down right now. I told you I was gonna come back. Hopefully you came back. Hopefully you see my first episode of Nass. Basically on the All-Star ballots that I dropped. So going on a little bit over a week, like 9 days, 10 days, 8 days, something in that range. But nah, shout out to everyone that's been showing me support. Everyone that tuned in, you know, everyone that liked it, subscribed. Y'all the best, y'all the best, y'all the best. Y'all trying to help a brother out. Really do appreciate it. So for second episode, just gonna give you a quick little sneak peek at, you know, some of the topics I'm about to break down, or, you know, just talk about. Basically gonna give a quick send off to Tom Brady. Tip my hat to Tom Brady. A big staple of, you know, my NFL childhood, NFL teenhood, into my brief adulthood. He's been everything. A lot of rings, a lot of jewelry, a lot of fun. So, you know, just obviously just a, you know, quick appreciation send off for him. Quick shout out to Odell. You know, talk about, you know, his up and downs since, you know, he left the Giants. The Flores lawsuit, just, you know, where I stand on how everything kind of broke down, you know, from him accepting, you know, funds for, you know, losing games, especially in such a physical, demanding sport like football. Then I have, you know, a little confession to make about my Nets. You know, not my Nets, but, you know, my guys out there in, you know, scary our world over there in Brooklyn. So just, you know, just a brief kind of, not a breakdown, but just kind of like a little bit of a, you know, not me going on a tangent, but me just kind of, you know, checking to see if everything is all right, if everything's gonna be all right, how are they gonna stay in the long haul, you know. So that, then also something similar, probably gonna talk about why the Lakers haven't staggered LeBron and Russ, their whole dynamic, them coexisting as teammates, and, you know, these big athletic slashers that love to attack the paint and be efficient and effective at the rim. How the Lakers can possibly get the most out of that. And yeah, those are all the quick hitters for episode 2. Y'all stay tuned, don't move. Yeah, my camera kind of fell down, sorry. But nah, don't move. Get something to eat, get comfy, get cozy. Episode 2 of Nass coming right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sounds real dramatic, like something's coming. Got that real intro type vibe to it. Yeah, enough of the smooth. It's bad boy, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. They go by the name of Q, Mike, Slim, Deron. And this is part 3. You know, like the third album. Like the third time we've been here. Like part 3. You know, yeah, they represent the ATF. Come on.
Just a little 12 is all you need. Just a little 12 is all you need. Just a little 12 is all you need. Alright. Just a little 12 is all you need.
Cause I didn't think you were gonna come back, but you came back. It's awkward because I really didn't think you were gonna come back, but you know, they always come back. They always do come back. So episode 2 going on right now. I'm getting into Tom Brady. You know, I just want to give a quick farewell, quick appreciation for my guy Tom. Is someone that was a very big part of my childhood, my teenhood. As a fan of the Patriots, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to, you know, watch him play every Sunday, be able to, you know, give me something as a kid to root for. Not just me, but, you know, fans around the world. Because I know Patriots Nation is not just a Massachusetts thing. It's not just a New England thing. It's a world thing. You know, we really do this winning stuff. And man, it's been fun rooting for him. not to this point. I mean, I knew even when he went to Tampa Bay, I was still gonna root for him. I still wanted the best for him. I was rooting for him in the Super Bowl. There was no way I was gonna root for my homeboy against Tom. That's ludicrous. That's really Tom's son. And I don't mean to get disrespectful on anyone's name, but that's just where my loyalty lies with Thomas Brady. Thank you, Tom, for giving a kid like me something to look for every Sunday. It didn't matter how my day was going, but on Sunday, if any of the Pats were on, Tom was gonna put on a show for me. And 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10, he was going to bring home a W. I never counted you out last week against the Rams. I was trying to tell my boys, Rams Bucks, I really don't know, because I've never bet against Tom in my life. So why would I start now? But yeah, shout out Tom Brady. Great career. Great is an understatement. I can't even say great career unless I call you the great, the GOAT, Tom Brady. Congrats on a hell of a career. I know you're not going to watch this. Maybe your kids won't watch it. Maybe your friends or your family, they won't watch it. But from the heart, though, as a fan, as a Patriots fan, I just felt like it was necessary to do this. Just what you brought to the table every day. I wasn't with you every day at practice or anything, but I can imagine how you were at practice. Definitely, psycho competitor, someone that's obsessed, that lives, breathes, and, loves football. So I could always respect that. And just, thanks for the memories.
They done at 34-20 with 2.5 to go. Remember, they began the offense like this. This is Deion Branch the other way from Louisville. He's still from Louisville. 23 yards. He's still in the end zone. The New England Patriots go on to win it 41-27. And there's Charlie Weiss. What a game he called, hugging Bill Belichick.
So for my next segment, my next tangent, rant, whatever you want to call it, big shout out to my guy Odell Beckham. You know what I'm saying? First Super Bowl. I've been waiting a very long time to get in front of this damn camera. Well, not this camera, but I've been waiting a long time to tell people that he's like that. I've been telling people he's like that for years and years and years. And some people knew. This is more than just me saying, oh, he's a good football player. He's this and that. I mean, when you look at what he's been through, started a crazy career in New York. They draft Saquon Barkley. Gettleman puts Saquon and Odell together. Boom. You're like, okay, now show me more. You know what I'm saying? Saquon rushes for 1,300 with Odell. He splits. He pays Odell. He makes Odell the highest Odell the highest paid wide receiver in the league. And then he goes and he trades him. After he came out, after he paid him and said, oh, I didn't sign him just to trade him. And then he sent him to Cleveland. And then Odell was quoted saying, yeah, they sent me to Cleveland to die. And looking back at it, I mean, careers do die in Cleveland. I mean, and that's not, that's not a shot at Cleveland, but that's just the truth. Those are just the facts. Careers don't really flourish in Cleveland. But, I just want to give a shout out to him because, I love seeing not just athletes, but people overcome, huge not huge obstacles. I shouldn't say outcomes, huge obstacles. This was a guy that tore his ACL off a underthrown pick from Baker Mayfield. He comes back, and I had wrote about it for NGSC. I did a piece before training camp on Odell, talking about how the Cleveland Browns offense would flourish. They should move him around, all these special things they should do with him. I was comparing him to Marvin Harrison in the sense of he's such a versatile receiver. He can be X, he can be Y. He can run any route on the route tree, curl, comeback, slant, sluggo, comeback, hitch, like whatever. I think I said comeback twice, but it doesn't matter. Right or left side of the field, catch with either hand, king of the double moves. That route that he put on, not Patrick Peterson, but there was a Vikings corner this year, Odell, the Rams versus the Vikings, Odell was split out wide to the right, and he ran up like 12 yards, inside leverage, stopped at the top of his route, gave a quick 1-2 with like a head fake, and bounced out. Basically made a 12-yard, 13-yard out route, but inside leverage. You know, he made it more fancy. Quick out, broke the defender down. The corner was on, I think, either his right hip.
Fake the in cut. Here he is one-on-one with Dantzler to watch at the very top. Fake the in cut. Get him spun around, and he just
catches, touchdown, 6. So it's just been a blessing just to see him be able to, you know, enjoy the fruits of his labor, because this is a guy that's he's hustled, he's attacked every rehab like it was, you know, no tomorrow. He's been through so much. So seeing, you know, the Rams be able to take a shot on him, McVay, the wizard that he is, on the offensive side of the ball, being able to just put the ball in his hands in right spots, you know, then getting Matthew Stafford and Odell to build that necessary camaraderie that is, you know, that is needed to be established between a quarterback and receiver. And I just feel like Stafford and Odell have been aggressive from day one. Obviously, you saw the first play when Odell came over when he went to San Fran. The very first play went to Odell for like a 5-yard out or 6 yards or something. Later on that drive, he threw a pick. He tried to force a ball down the field. But that's just, I feel like it was more so those two trying to, obviously they were trying to make the most out of it, but they're not just, they're trying to get it going now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Stafford and Odell, they know the potential that they have. Obviously, Odell knows Stafford. Stafford knows Odell. They know what they both can bring to the table, and they know that this product can be very, 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 very problematic for opposing teams. So, you know, the camaraderie that they built going into the postseason was probably the biggest factor into, you know, the Super Bowl chances, or the contending chances, for that matter, at that point of the year. So, yeah, I just wanted to shout out Odell real quick. It's been great to watch him play. It's great to see him, you know, happy again playing football. He definitely hasn't looked happy the past couple of years for numerous reasons. But it's good to see my guy, you know, finally see what it's like to be on in a winning culture, on a winning team, a team with some structure, some stability. I feel like Odell has just needed that. Next topic I wanted to dive into real quick, the Brennan lawsuit. For those of you that follow the NFL, I've been following the story about, you know, Brennan Flores, who was an ex-Miami Dolphins head coach. He was the head coach for the Dolphins this past year before he got fired. He was being offered money to lose games by the Miami Dolphins owner. So that story was trending past couple days. There's a text receipt that was leaked out where Bill Belichick had congratulated Brennan Flores on a job vacancy. I forget for what team, but he's an old dude. And my boy Kyle he made a good point earlier. He said, you know, Bill's like 70 years old. Obviously, why would he be a toxic type of, you know, coach, or be just in the wrong mix? Why would he do that on purpose to stir up one of his, you know, ex coaches? Why would he do that? He hasn't been like that up until now. He's been one of the more, you know, professional coaches, if not the most professional coach in the history of the game. Why would he now choose to do something so silly and childish, like intend to send a message? He's an older dude. Technology's everywhere. He probably just, you know, had trouble keeping it up and sending it to the right person, and he sent it to the wrong person. Brennan Flores has every right to, you know, be obviously, you know, a little pissed off. Like, I'd be ticked off if I went for an interview and I got congratulated on a job that actually wasn't mine. I'd be ticked off too, especially someone like Brennan Flores. Brennan Flores, the Dolphins were on a 7-game win streak and they still fired him. And it's like, dude, like, what? This dude's got a second-year QB. Jalen Waddle, young receiver. The team's young. You got to give him a chance, but he won 7 straight games after they were on a terrible start. He won 7 games. He was supposed to be like the highest head coaching candidate going into next year. Still has no job. And it's kind of odd, especially for, you know, me being African American. It's it's tough to see that a sport that is dominated by nearly, well, not nearly, but a league that is dominated by African Americans. It's kind of tough for me to believe that former players, current coaches have a tougher time getting a job in a sport that their race dominates in. And I don't want to dive into race. It's not because I'm not saying that all white GMs and Caucasian owners are incompetent of running their teams and organizations in a, rightful manner. No, of course they are. They have a long history of showing that. But it's not just Caucasian people that can run NFL teams. Last time I checked, I don't see why the job market is different. I don't think anyone can refute to me and say that, oh no, it's treated fairly. No, it's not. A lot of these NFL owners, most likely, and I don't have the stat off the top of my head of how many NFL owners got handed the ownership from their, maybe their parent or a family member who owned the team prior, but that's usually what the pecking order goes when you probably own something. You own something, you hand it down to your son, or hand it down to your daughter, or a niece, or a nephew, so they can carry on that legacy because you're putting them in a right situation financially to basically, cash in on a life that you worked hard for. I feel like as a parent, that's what you would do. A lot of these NFL owners, I feel like that's just the same thing. But in this case, it's, it seems to be racism. Why would any NFL owner offer to pay money to an NFL coach for a franchise that has not had any sort of success the past, I don't know what, since maybe Dan Marino? When was the last time the Miami Dolphins were actually a contender in the AFC?
Richie, I brought over the latest MC Rapwell CD. It is slamming.
Yeah, we'll crank it after dinner.
There will be no rap played in this house.
Sean, please.
Maggie, that music teaches kids to disrespect their parents.
Some rap is positive, Mr. Foley.
It's all garbage. It tells kids to write on walls, stay out past curfews, and heaven knows what else. It tears down everything guys like me built. Look around you, Dakota's gone to pot. Well, not in my house.
But, Dad, that's not fair.
That's the last word, Richie.
My dad, sometimes, I'm so embarrassed.
Will you stop? My pops hates hip-hop, too. It's not a black-white thing, it's an old thing. As far as I'm concerned, this whole thing is squashed. Time to get minty fresh. Down the hall, right?
Yeah.
And now I see why Richie acts like a hood, Maggie. That kid's a bad influence. All his kind are.
Keep your voice down.
It's bad enough I gotta deal with them all day long. Now one of them's in my house.
It's still early. I can go home without calling my pops for a ride.
Virgil, don't leave, please. We can talk to my mom.
What good is that gonna do, Rich? She can't change what he said. You were right all along. Hanging here was a bad idea. Sorry.
So, shout out to Brendan Flores. I just think he's, and he came out and he mentioned how, him suing the NFL is, putting his life at jeopardy. He knows he'll most likely never get a shot at an NFL job ever again. So, kudos to him. I tip my hat to him because that takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of pride, to, be able to just use your platform to, advocate for change for a sport that I'm assuming you love. I'm assuming Brandon Flores loves football just like I do, and just like a lot of people do. And for him to, him to have the courage to stand up for himself, it's something, as a young African-American man, I as myself, I just, I don't even know. It's very indescribable. I really feel for him, his family, just for him to have to go through a process like this. But I hope everything works out. I hope he actually comes back to the Patriots. We miss him. We could have really used him in the Buffalo game. But I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the decision he made. I'm proud that we have African Americans that are not, especially in the NFL, that are not, you know, turning their head away. They're looking that person right back in the eye and saying, hey, no, I'm not taking this. It's not fair. And, you know, they deserve better. We deserve better. I'm not going to say we. I'm not an NFL player or an NFL, you know, official or anything. But no, us as African Americans, we deserve better. Deserve an opportunity. There's been some successful African American coaches, and there's been some unsuccessful African American coaches. Just like there's been some successful Caucasian coaches, and there's been some non-successful, you know, Caucasian coaches. So it's not even about race. It's more so about opportunity. The man just wants the opportunity. What else does he have to show you? I mean, the Miami Dolphins, a 7-game win streak. A 7-game win streak in the National Football League is not easy to come by. A sport like this, it's not easy to just go and, you know, rip off 7 games in a row. It's a very, very competitive sport. So shout out to Brian Flores, man. Next, I'm going to basically spill my thoughts and my heart and my soul on what I think the Nets are going to be coming to the season end, and we're at the mid-year point. And I don't know, the Nets, there's a lot of questions in Nets world, so y'all stay tuned. That's coming up.
What's up, baby? What up, BD? You ready, baby? You got that for me? I heard the Princess of Tunisia is banging. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I need me a little bit of this. Let's get up out here. Oh, man. You got some visitors, dog. Let's get up on out here.
So the Brooklyn Nets are, I believe they're like a couple games out of the 6th seed or something like that. They were a 1 seed up until basically Durant, you know, he sprained his MCL. He's been amazing all year. I've already ranted about how I believe he's the best player in the world. How he's, you know, that Bucks series. It didn't change his legacy, but I feel like the thing with Kevin Durant, why people were so mad about him going to Golden State, is that it robbed them of an actual, like, justification of handing the baton, the best player. Because people don't like LeBron. You know, people don't like LeBron. We already know that. They haven't liked LeBron. People will do anything to say negative things about LeBron. We know that. But at that point in time, when Kevin Durant was coming up, and, you know, he was starting to challenge LeBron with the best player in the world. And then 2014 came by. He got MVP and the whole, Mom, you're the real MVP. And then he had already made the finals trip. People were like, wow, okay, what's up with KD? KD might be, maybe he's the best player in the world, you know. And he had every right to be in that conversation, not taking anything away. But when he made that jump to Golden State, it robbed people of, you know, people kind of were like, yo, KD, how are you gonna do it that way? Like, really, you're gonna go on the bandwagon, you're gonna go do what LeBron did. People really were mad at him for doing something that LeBron did, even though LeBron didn't do that, you know, in context. But you know what I mean, not the same exact tactic. He didn't go to a team that beat him, but he did form a super team. At the end of the day, Kevin Durant formed a super team. It was a non-organic way, you know what I'm saying? It really just kind of put the competition, just weighted. It was just Golden State against the world. It was Golden State, LeBron, and the rest. That was what the NBA was for that point in time when he was in Golden State. So going back to what I was saying about the Bucks series, I feel like it didn't cement his legacy, but I feel like that was a huge moment for KD. He wasn't just the best scorer in the league. He was the best player in that series. I believe he was better than Giannis in that series. I think he had to endure way more. He had to look. This is a dude that had to deal with Giannis defending him, Drew, Chris Middleton, PJ Tucker. There were so many dudes that were just in this dude's face, you know. And he was alone. Harden was on one leg. Kyrie rolled his ankle in Game 3, I believe. he had nothing to do. He had nothing to do. So, but for him to be able to push the reigning champs 7 games, that was as impressive as basically probably anything he's done in his playoff career, aside from winning those chips in Golden State. So, you know, it stinks because KD started off this year hot, real hot, you know, real hot. And the whole Kyrie vaccine stuff, and, you know, it's now he sprained his MCL. He's out for a while. Then the state of New York has come out saying they're not going to tweak the vaccine mandate. So the chances of Kyrie Irving playing strict road games the rest of the NBA season, including the playoffs, are extremely high because he's already said he's not taking the vaccine. And I didn't expect him to. And I don't even want him to, honestly. He's a man of his word. He has followers and fans like myself that, you know, that look up to him, commend him for, you know, the stuff that he does on and off the court. And, you know, he's his own man. He has his own family. He's a grown man. At the end of the day, he's a grown man. He made a decision. What are you going to do? And who are you to tell him, you know, not to make that decision? But I didn't want to deep dive into too much vaccine stuff. But I'm just nervous. You know, I'm nervous for Nets world. KD's been playing a boatload of minutes since the year has started. People were like, hey, you might get hurt. You might break down. You know, he's like, I'm a ball player, I'm a play, and as he should. He has every right to say something like that. He's a basketball savant. He's a basketball god. He's KD. He's not, if he has to play every minute, he will play every minute. He's already done that. He's proved that. But just not seeing him out there with this team, Kyrie's playing road games. I feel bad for Harden. You know what I'm saying? Harden has never had the chance to be a true free agent. He basically cried his way out of Houston because he knew this was it. You know, this was it. I thought this was it too. They put this thing together. I was like, there's no way anyone's touching them. There's no way. 3 of the most skilled offensive scorers to ever play, all coming together, and they actually built camaraderie. That's the craziest part. I think they played 16 games together, and they've won like 12 of them. I think they really haven't, like, it's ridiculous. They're having basically a season from hell part 2. The season from hell was last year. The season from hell was definitely last year. Now it's part 2. And it leads into the postseason. They lost their guys due to injury. Now KD's back. KD's hurt now. He's not getting any younger. As great as he is, not everyone can be LeBron. Not everyone can just try and, you know, extend father time to this extent. You know what I mean? So shout out. It's not even a shout out. No, I'm giving a shout out to maybe shout out the Nets training staff for having to deal with all these guys being hurt, all this COVID stuff. You know, I saw something today. Joe Harris might need a second procedure on his ankle. Like, what gives, man? What is going on in Brooklyn? I don't know what is going on, but it's just been tough to watch. In the games Kyrie's played, he's been amazing. He's just been amazing. He put some crazy move on Cameron Johnson.
It's absolutely filthy. I mean, take a look at how much defense he's going to draw in. The ball on a string, and then Patty Mills.
It's the wizardry's crazy. I mean, for him to be in this good of shape for a guy that hasn't played in X amount of months since rolling his ankle last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, it's been amazing to watch. It's been amazing to watch. So, you know, hopefully the Nets bring it together. I'm having these confessions about them because I don't think much is going to change. I think the best thing they can hope for as of this second is KD comes back. Him and Harden have like the best stretch of basketball that they've had together. Forget Kyrie, because Kyrie's going to come back for road games. But those two have to be... If this Kyrie thing is going to be a road thing and it's going to go into the postseason, then James Harden has to just turn into 2019, 2018 James Harden. If the Nets have any sort of title chances, he has to turn into that. Because KD's good. We already know what we're getting from KD. KD will come back. He's rested up. He'll come back. He'll be all right. But James Harden has to just be that. He has to be that for this team. I think he can do so. It's not gonna be easy because the ball's in his hands and he's the game plan is for him. They know they can't game plan for KD, so everyone's just gonna game plan for James Harden. And you know, we'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. I think he'll respond very well. As you can see, he's very impatient. I think he was quoted the other day saying that, you know, the Nets were talking too much. They need to handle business. They need to lock in. Like, this is not some BS no more, something like that. And he has every right to be frustrated. I'd be frustrated too. I really would be. So that's the Nets. Last point before I end this whole thing. I know I killed you guys with like an hour of All-Star break talk. So, you know, I wanted this episode because I know a lot of people come to me like, damn, Nass, you gonna make it an hour again? Blah, 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 blah. Like, nah, bro, chill. I got you. But nah, from here on out, you know, it depends on the topics, you know, and obviously, like I told you, this is not something that I'm going to be here doing alone. I plan on having numerous people on here, just, you know, talking about numerous things, not just the NBA. You know, like I just told you, I was just talking about the NFL. It's obviously, you hear the beats. I mean, I can't live without music. You know, my AirPods basically are in my right pocket before my wallet or my keys. So, you know, music too. But like I said, this is going to be something that, it's going to be a step-by-step process. But, you know, I can't wait to see where it grows. I really can't wait to see, how I progress as, you know, a podcaster. As, I don't know what they call, I don't know, that's what you guys call us, or us vloggers or bloggers or whatever. I actually can't stand the word blog. I can't. So if you ever like see me on the street and you're always like, yo, blogger, yo, I actually can't stand that word. So, you know, hopefully the Nets bring it together. I'm having these confessions about them because I don't think much is gonna change. I think the best thing they can hope for as of this second is KD comes back. Him and Harden have like the best stretch of basketball that they've had together. Forget Kyrie, because Kyrie's going to come back for road games. But those two have to be... If this Kyrie thing is going to be a road thing and it's going to go into the postseason, then James Harden has to just turn into 2019, 2018 James Harden. If the Nets have any sort of title chances, he has to turn into that. Because KD's good. We already know what we're getting from KD. KD will come back. He's rested up. He'll come back. He'll be all right. But James Harden has to... James Harden has to just be that. He has to be that for this team. I think he can do so. It's not gonna be easy because the ball's in his hands, and the game plan is for him. They know they can't game plan for KD, so everyone's just gonna game plan for James Harden. And you know, we'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. I think he'll respond very well. As you can see, he's very impatient. I think he was quoted the other day saying that, you know, the Nets were talking too much. They need to handle business. They need to lock in. Like, this is not some BS no more, something like that. And he has every right to be frustrated. I'd be frustrated too. I really would be. So that's the Nets. Last point before I end this whole thing. I know I killed you guys with like an hour of All-Star break talk. So, you know, I wanted this episode because I know a lot of people come to me like, damn, Nass, you gonna make it an hour again? Blah, 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 blah. Like, nah, bro, chill. I got you. But nah, from here on out, you know, it depends on the topics, you know, and obviously, like I told you, this is not something that I'm going to be here doing alone. I plan on having numerous people on here, just, you know, talking about numerous things, not just the NBA. You know, like I just told you, I was just talking about the NFL. It's obviously, you hear the beats. I mean, I can't live without music. You know, my AirPods basically are in my right pocket before my wallet or my keys. So, you know, music too. But like I said, this is going to be something that, it's going to be a step-by-step process. But, you know, I can't wait to see where it grows. I really can't wait to see, how I progress as, you know, a podcaster. As, I don't know what they call, I don't know, that's what you guys call us, or us vloggers or bloggers or whatever. I actually can't stand the word blog. I can't. So if you ever like see me on the street and you're always like, yo, blogger, yo. Got a lot more on the way. Stay tuned. My last tangent. LeBron Russ coming soon.
Yo, little dude from across the street. Come here.
Listen, man, I don't have any money.
I don't want your money, little dude. I want to know how you got Tasha.
Got Tasha what?
Come on, little dude. I saw that. Every little dude on the block been trying to get next to her. Little dude from up on the 3rd floor. Little dude from around the corner. Little dude with the funny leg. Little dude with the little arm. Little dude that be with big dude. And Kenny. Now I know why they can't get nowhere. This little dude from across the street is on the case. Then why you ain't tell nobody?
Hey, well, you know.
That's what you said when you didn't want to lie, but you didn't want to tell the truth.
I underestimated you, little dude. I ain't think you had it in you. Tasha. Mean as her grandmama is. You a bad man, little dude.
Just do me a favor. Don't tell anybody.
It's between me and you. Little dude from across the street. Mac.
I should have told him the truth that nothing happened, but hey, well, you know.
All right, so my last, and I don't even know what I'm going to call these. I've been calling them quick hitters, confessions. I don't even know what to call them, but anyways, they're just topics I like to just get off the top of my head. But the Lakers, LeBron is dealing with knee swelling or knee soreness or something of that sort. Since Russ has gone down, he's played, it's crazy. They just lost the Clippers tonight, a bad loss to the Clippers. But he showed signs of life, if that means anything to anyone. He had that big game in Charlotte, the 30 nugget in the second half against Charlotte. Most points in a half since Kobe Bryant's last game. No big deal. I don't think the dude forgot how to play basketball. I think the dude just needs consistent point guard touches. You didn't bring in Russell Westbrook to pair him with LeBron. You brought him in so LeBron can take a breather for these little games like Lakers versus Hornets or Lakers versus Magic. LeBron doesn't need to play those games. He has too many miles and minutes on his body. He needs to just rest. You brought Russ in so he and AD can compete at a high level every game. And just to conserve those miles for LeBron and, come playoff time, bring it all together. The problem is, Vogel, for one, has not figured out what to do with any of the Lakers lineups. Anything outside of AD and LeBron, he hasn't figured out. I don't know why. I feel like people now should understand that Russell Westbrook, to be the most effective point guard on a team, I mean, he's been effective. He's played with non-shooters before and has proven to be effective, but that was back when he was in his athletic prime. He's not in his prime anymore. His first step is much slower than it was before. He doesn't have that same burst. He has, and I shouldn't even say that. It's crazy to say that because he's in amazing shape. He's always in shape. Always in shape. You can never question Russell. I don't think I've ever seen anything where he comes into training camp not in shape. Secondly, he shows it in spurts. He had that big dunk against Gobert. But it's not the same. He doesn't have that same pizzazz that he did. He had the same pizzazz that John Morant. John Morant, you can't stay in front of John Morant. There was one point in time that Russell Westbrook was the hardest player, not even point guard, the hardest player to stay in front of in the league at one point. For a stretch of time, he was. This is a combination of speed, strength. He's yoked. He was a freak of nature. So now for the Lakers, he only shows spurts of it. But you're not going to maximize Russell Westbrook by putting him off to the side and having him ball watch. You're trying to turn him into, and they're not turning him into, but like you can't, he's not an off guard. Russell Westbrook can never play off guard, ever. He has to have the ball in his hands. He has to be the one that is running the offense, dictating the game flow, running the pace up, playmaking for others, finding his spots, picking his shots. That is his game. He has to have the ball in his hands. I said this about, it's crazy I say this. I said this about, I was talking about the Kings, the Sacramento Kings with someone, and De'Aaron Fox, who I've also defended him last year. He should have been an all-star. But bottom line, they drafted Davion Mitchell. They drafted Tyrese Halliburton the year prior. Halliburton's a hell of a player. Halliburton and De'Aaron, I see the pairing. You draft Davion. Those are already two ball-dominant guards. Now you're bringing in a guy that's not, obviously he's a two-way guy, but he's a guy that needs the ball in his hands too. He's not a Patty Mills. He needs to have the ball in his hands. He's not like a Kyle Korver, someone that's just gonna, or a Wesley Matthews, a guard that's gonna be in the corner, stretch the floor. He's okay, just, hey, pass it to, no. He needs the ball in his hands so he can make things happen. He was making things happen at Baylor. Now you have him and Halliburton. That hinders Fox's volume. Fox is not a guy like Patty Mills. And Fox is trying to be a team guy. He's trying to make sure everyone's involved, everyone's getting acclimated. Obviously, there's more to just the playbook and training camp. Like, obviously, training camp, you get together, you learn about your teammates' tendencies, their strengths, and you learn the playbook, and you get in shape, and you kind of just, you know, get everything clicking. That's what training camp's for. But De'Aaron, it's hard for a guy like that to, you know, maximize his potential when the ball is not just in Tyrese's hands, but now Davion's hands. Now you're talking about 3-guard lineups. There's a reason why 3-guard lineups don't, you know, go far in the NBA. Obviously, you know, it's positionless now. Now it does, but primarily you don't put out 3 guards. That's not going to happen. So basically what I'm saying is the ball needs to be in De'Aaron Fox's hands. The ball needs to be in Russell Westbrook's hands. If you want to maximize guys that aren't known as knockdown shooters or guys that live downhill, guys that love to thrive in traffic, guys that dynamic, athletic guys that are keen on just, you know, beating you one-on-one, give him the ball. Give him the ball. And I'm not saying LeBron give up the ball just give up the ball to Russ and you go stand in the corner. I'm not saying that either because he's not an off guard either. Stagger Russ and LeBron. They did it in Houston. They traded Capella. He played the most efficient basketball of his entire professional career. Did it work out? No. In the playoffs, he got COVID and hurt his quad. The dude was already in his 30s. What do you want him to do? He's a fragile dude, and you know, guys like he's kind of fragile. He's had a couple knee surgeries and all that. He's a little bit fragile. Take the ball out of his hands. Put it into Russ's hands when he goes to the bench. Stagger them. Harden, D'Antoni did with Harden and Russ. I don't see why they don't do it more with him and LeBron. When LeBron is out there with Russ, Russ looks like he's walking on eggshells. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to stand. He feels almost intimidated. Not intimidated. It's crazy to say that Russell Westbrook looks intimidating. I thought I would never say those words. But overall, just the fact that it's like, bro, this is a dude. You're telling, it's almost like you're telling a 2005 Ferrari to basically operate the same as a Tesla. That 04 Ferrari is not going to operate as a Tesla. The 04 Ferrari has a lot of miles on it. That 04 Ferrari, you're only going to be able to maximize that at certain points. You're not going to be able to maximize it the way you did in 2004 where you could just drive it anywhere. Now you need it to operate like a Tesla. You need to be more of a maintenance car. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's a Ferrari. Ferraris can't be maintenance cars. But Ferraris are a luxurious, famous car. They only know one speed. Russell Westbrook knows one speed. So if you're going to pay Russell Westbrook all that money, you might as well use his strengths to the best of his ability. Clear out the floor. Put Malik Monk out there. Put Avery Bradley out there. Put Anthony Davis out there. I don't know about Horton Tucker or who the fourth guy should be out there. Maybe Ariza. Put Russ out with those guys who need LeBron go to the bench. LeBron is very well capable of carrying his own load. It doesn't matter who you put him with. You put LeBron out there with Taylor Horton Tucker, Wayne Ellington. In fact, I said Monk and Avery Bradley. Put Russ with Ellington and Monk. Russ should not be on the floor without Ellington and Monk. At least one of them, if not both of them. I'm going to say both of them. Put him out there with those two, Anthony Davis, maybe DeAndre Jordan because, not DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard because we already know DeAndre Jordan he's already basically off to the tail end. AD doesn't love to play the 5 all that much. I think we can just tell all those reports about him playing the 5 coming down the line. I mean, you know, as the next couple of years with Russ, I think for now we can see it's cap. But clear it out. The only centers that should be on the floor for the Lakers should be Anthony Davis, Dwight, and LeBron. LeBron's not a traditional center, but you can go small with him. If you go small with LeBron and you put him at the 5, that should be the only time him and Russ share the floor. When LeBron's the big 5, like a big Draymond or a Ben Simmons, and crunch time. When they're starting the game, when they go small ball with LeBron at the 5 and crunch time. Those should be the only 3 times that Russ and LeBron should be on the court together, because they can't operate the same. And I'm not saying take the ball out of LeBron's hands and just tell him to back off. No, he needs the same volume. You just need to know how to balance the volume amongst the two. But when they're on the court together, the ball just stays in LeBron's hands, as it should. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Russ is a superior playmaker to LeBron, but the Lakers are much better off in the long run if they have Russ with the ball in his hands, not when LeBron's on the court, him, and put in some surrounding pieces. You want him to be a 6th man, but you can't tell him to come off the bench. If you want him to be a 6th man and you're worried about his ego, why don't you treat him like a 6th man? Have him start the game, take him out early, have LeBron stay. When LeBron's time to go to the bench, bring Russ back on. Bring Russ back on with Ellington. Leave Monk out there. Leave AD out there. Now you have more of a balance. Now he's playing second team squads. If he's playing second team squads, Russell will look like an all-star out there. I promise you. Don't have him face the starters if you're so worried about him. Have him face the second team guys. But have him out there with some guys. You need guys that will stretch the floor for him. He's lost the first step. He's 33 years old. He's not 2017 Russ anymore. No, those years are behind him. I know he showed flashes for Washington last year, but you saw how that went too. He needs places to operate. He needs places to operate. And I think that's really it. They lost the Clippers today. Anthony Davis, that's really the only bright spot the Lakers have, is that Anthony Davis is looking like Anthony Davis again. But other than that, like, man, like, I don't know what the Lakers are going to do. Because you can't trade him. His contract's impossible. No one is going to take that contract on. No one. So you need to do something with it. Or it's, it's going to be a long road back home, because they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs if they keep trending in this direction. But the only thing that's giving me hope, they've played 16 games together. Just 16. 16 games. Russ, ironically, has played every game this year. But he's the problem. I don't want to hear that he's the problem. He's played every game this year. How are you supposed to get acclimated with a new team when the 2 biggest stars on the teams have been in and out of the lineup? Hey, Davis just got back. Now Davis came back. Now LeBron's hurt. LeBron was healthy. Davis had hurt his knee. Earlier before, LeBron got COVID, and then he was dealing with that abdominal stuff, and AD was playing. So they just need a good stretch. The Lakers just need a solid 25-game stretch where they all play together and figure out what the heck that they are. What are they? They don't even have an identity. That's the sad part. They don't have an identity, and we're at the All-Star break. We don't even have a good enough sample size to even, like, deem them anything. But, like I said, I'm not no expert. I've never coached an NBA team. But knowing the strengths and weaknesses of both LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, more so Russell Westbrook, treat him like a 6th man. You don't have to have him be the 6th man to treat him like one. Have him play 6-man minutes. It's that simple. It's really that simple. You have Anthony Davis just run heavy pick and roll with him every time. If you go small ball with LeBron at the 5, run pick and roll with LeBron and Russ every time. Every time. It at least buys you some time for Russ to get to the rim and for us to make a decision. If you're surrounding him with some shooters, you're going to get some points on the board. You're just going to. But enough about that. That's my LeBron Russ tangent. You can just tell that, sometimes these NBA dudes, man, I just be losing sleep. I be losing sleep, and I'm a late sleeper too. I'm a night owl, so you can only imagine how much sleep I do get even when they do cause me to lose sleep. But anyways, ladies and gents, thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Nass. Second episode. I think I like that. I like the sound of that. Second episode locked, loaded, donezo. I don't know what I'm gonna do for 3, but we'll probably figure out something. But no, honestly, shout out to everyone that is, continue to tune in. I know it's the second episode. It feels like things are moving really fast, but a good fast, at my own pace. But I like how everything's, shaping up. Like I said, I have a lot more to come. look out for NGSC Sports. I'm probably gonna drop my Twitter in the description. I got a piece from NGSC Sports, you know, Nass's trip around the association. I got those volumes that's been going for the past couple months, basically all year. You know, once in a while I just do a little lap around the association, talk about what I gotta talk about. You know, keep people on their toes. Obviously articulate about what's hot. You know, typical stuff. So my latest page of that should be out probably by like this weekend or so. So look out for that. I'm obviously not gonna drop the topics on that. It's about nothing that we talked about in this pod, I'll tell you that. I'm trying to keep those, you know, interchangeable, one thing here, one thing there. But no, shout out to everyone that's, you know, obviously kept tuning in, supporting. You know, it means the world. Too many people that have been supporting me for me to even name. But like I said, thank you. I'm grateful just to be here, be able to, you know, have the opportunity to talk to, you know, an audience. Thanks everyone for tuning in for episode 2 of Nass. Really appreciate all the love. I'm gonna drop my NGSC link. I got, for those that, you know, that have me on Twitter and stuff, or not just Twitter, but, you know, like I told you, I've been writing in Nass's Trip Around the Association, Volume 2, page 4 should be out probably sometime this weekend. I'm not going to drop the topics just yet. Be on the lookout for that. I'll probably drop that in the description. Thanks for, you know, those of you out there that have been supporting, tuning in. Just grateful to have this opportunity to talk about, you know, the stuff that I love in front of an audience, and just, you know, help, you know, grow this podcast each and every day. Sorry for taking up your time. I promise you I wasn't going to be an hour, and I wasn't wrong. It wasn't going to be an hour, so I want none of y'all to hit my jack talking about, oh, Nass, you have me up listening to your shit, blah, blah, blah. Nah, I ain't trying to hear all that. I ain't trying to hear all that, because it wasn't an hour. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the love. Come back, tune in for 3 coming out soon. 3 coming out soon. All right, y'all. Peace.